Hello guys, hello, how are we doing? Hope you're well and happy, hope you're having a cracking day. Okay, we're going to dive right into it guys. If you're live, give me a wave and start gathering those questions and throw them at me, okay? So guys, just giving you an overview of, well, today's live Q&A, what it's all about. It's about you firing questions at me, but most importantly as well, I want to just give people some clarity. On about the scales, about the weight, reasons to why the scales doesn't always reflect the results that we're having. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want any of you to feel disheartened. Carlo, my man, how's things? Hope you are well and happy. Anybody else online brave enough to give me a wave? Say hello, say hello, say hello. Okay, so what happens is, hello Sheila. I'm going to say some hellos first because hello Jane, how's things? How are you guys? Hope you're well and happy. I'm looking at the surfing emoji. Okay, so there's lots of reasons to why you might be getting results, but the scales is not reflecting that, and I'm going to explain them. One could be time of the month, ladies. If you're storing water coming up to your period, it's very likely that could be a contributing factor as to why you're still progressing, but your weight isn't reflecting that. The great news is, though, once you've passed your period, the weight loss should be double. So it's like it basically compacts the weight loss into one result. It just slows it because you're actually continuing to lose real weight because of the water retention associated with coming up to your period. It means that it's not reflected on the scales, but that means that usually the following week you get a big drop, which is obviously very motivating. Okay, more highs before I go on. Mish, hello, out in the walk and listening. Rue, hello. Julia, how are we? Jesus, there are loads of people diving on here. Loving it. Great to see such great attendance. So, second reason to why your weight might not be reflected on your scales in terms of the weight loss, and that can be sodium intake or salt. If you've had a high intake of salt or sodium, it could also mean that you're retaining water. Okay, it can mean that you're retaining water. If you've added salt to your foods, if you had a particularly salty meal, then it is more likely, that you've retained fluid because of that. Okay, third reason, a lot of people who've started here are in a honeymoon phase of which their body has been hit by a brand new stimulus and is starting to adapt quickly in various ways. A lot of the time, a lot of people that I work with have never done resistance training before. So you've got that honeymoon phase of adaptation where your central nervous system is responding to the new stimulus and giving you results quickly. And what this means is you start adding muscle tone, not bulky, but you start adding muscle tone. And muscle doesn't weigh more than fat, despite what people think. It weighs the same. A ton of feathers weighs the same as a ton of rocks, but it appears differently on the body. And what that means is your clothes may become looser while the scales may not show that you've got lighter. So your body composition is changing. So bear that in mind. If your clothes are consistently fitting better, screw the scales. Okay? It's another big reason as to why you might not be seeing a difference in the scales. Another reason is hydration levels. How much fluid you've taken in that day. If you've taken in loads, you could be storing a bit of fluid. That could be why your weight hasn't gone down. Further, if you've had a lot of fiber that day, if you're storing a lot of weight in your bowel, that can also contribute to the scales not going down. In addition to that, there's also natural variation. If you did the same things every day, ate the same meals, etc., you would still notice fluctuations. You would still notice fluctuations in your weight because there's so many variables in terms of our body, in terms of hormone regulation, in terms of fluid regulation. There's so many variables. That's why I don't recommend you using the scales more than twice a week. Not more than twice a week. You can do it like the end of the week, midway through, whichever. But don't overdo it because it can give you that knock and you can feel real disheartened if you put the work in and you haven't seen weight loss. Another reason to why the scales may not be reflecting progress is simply we could have hit a plateau. And guys, I'll say it to you straight, every single one of you at some stage will hit a plateau. Your body doesn't keep losing weight until you weigh nothing. Eventually, you lose weight to the stage where your body realizes, okay, I've been losing weight for a while. I've reduced my calorie intake, but I'm now lighter, which means I need less calories to move my body around, which means that I now have a lower basal metabolic rate, which is what I need to maintain my weight, which means that you're going to lose weight until you hit a plateau. And to get past that plateau, we then need to make additional changes, which is why your weekly progress reports, guys, are so goddamn important. It allows me to make tweaks and course corrections. So, if you find yourself that your weight is plateauing, the first thing, as I'm sure you've noticed already, that I will try and do is I will dive into your activity, your steps in particular, your steps or even your hand movements if you're not mobile from the lower body down, whatever you feel you want to do, I will try and do what I can to increase your output of energy. Reason being, I want to minimize reductions in your calorie intake if I can, to minimize the chances of a deficiency in nutrients, because it's all about health at the end of the day. It's all about health at the end of the day, and I don't want anyone's health to ever suffer just for the goal of losing weight. We've got to make sure they move in synergy. They move in synergy together. I hope that answers some of your questions, guys, okay? So, let's dive in. Who is there? I've got Titsy. Hello, good morning. Chris, how are you? Phone call with you very, very soon. Lindsay, hello, how are you? Sylvie, warm welcome. Sylvie started yesterday. How are you doing, Lindsay? Hope you're well. Claire, hello. Tracy, hello, how are you? Any questions, guys, about any of that? Any of that unsure, unclear? Anything you'd like to ask me, please do let me know. Please do let me know. That's why I'm here. That is why I am here. So have I any crack or gossip for you guys? What's been going on in my life? The mother's getting the garden done. That's the highlight of the exception of the excitement going on here. Yeah, so there's been diggers all over the place. I'm sure you heard about the story I said last time about the builder trying to euthanize the cat to throw him in the septic tank to try and increase the bacteria production to allow the septic tank to work more efficiently. But the cat is fine, rest assured. No cats have been harmed in the making of this video. So guys, any other questions for me? Anything you want to ask me while I'm here? Anything good? Doing well so far. Delighted, Lindsay. Delighted. So guys, I suppose while I have the opportunity, in terms of the program, everyone's going to hit little bumps along the road. Hello, Lisa, a bit late. No worries at all. You're here now. That's what matters. So you're going to hit bumps along the road. You're going to hit bumps along the road. And this is a weird thing to say, but it's good if you do. It's good if you do because then you can learn how to get back on the horse. It's par for the course. Okay, it's par for the course. So what we need to be able to do, is when we've had a blip, when we've had a slip, when we've had a plateau, we reevaluate, we reflect on how it happened, why it happened, and what we can do to prevent it from happening again, what we can do to minimize the chances of that happening again. Okay? It allows us to build the framework and structure to minimize it from happening. Okay? Reflect on it. That way, if it does happen again, you know exactly the action plan you have to take to stop it from being an ongoing problem. Okay? To stop it from being an ongoing problem. But guys, you grow through what you go through. Pressure builds diamonds. It's resiliency we're looking for here. Resiliency as well. You're going to have blips. There's going to be things that happen that lead you to fall off course. But it's about restarting. And as long as we don't regress completely back to where we were before we first met, and we can get back on the horse quickly and consistently, you're going to get there. You're going to get there, guys. I want you to trust the process, and I want you to trust me as well. I want you to trust me as well, that I will do everything in my power to get you to where you want to be, because I am so passionate about this and I will not settle for someone not getting results. So trust the process, trust me, and you will get there. You will get there, guys. Okay, who's on now? Mary, hello. All diving in. The training I have 4 days. Bye, Babs. Give Babs a wave. She's leaving with Connie. We normally go for a walk around 11 a.m., but I said I'd give today's one a miss. Cry. I'll catch up with the dog and Babs later. The training I have 4 days, I know about rest time, but does the plan rest particular muscles, so I just repeat every day? Okay, so I don't want you to repeat the same muscle groups or even training every single day. More isn't always better. Exercise provides the stimulus, but it's rest that provides the adaptation. So preferably, I don't want anyone training more than more than 3 days in a row if we can. There's some exceptions, but ideally 3 days on, a day off, then 2 days on, or 2 days on, a day off, 2 days on, then 2 days off. Okay? So make sure you have breaks and you have rests. You have breaks and you have rests. So I train 4 times a week. Some of my clients train between 3 and 5 times a week, some even 6. But you can achieve an awful lot with 4. But remember, listen to your body. If you find yourself very, very sore, tired, let me know and just take a rest day and then train the day after. Listen to your body as well. Make sure it's not excuses though. Make sure you're genuine. Listen to your body so you know that it needs a rest. If it's just that you're tight or you're feeling stiff, do some stretches, do some yoga, do some mobility work, some foam rolling. This is called a pocket physio. Got it on Amazon. I love it. It's basically like a little triangle thing. I put it in the back of my chair and I lean into it like that. Oh my God. And it dives right in between my rhomboids in the middle of my upper back. And it breaks down any knots I have. I also dig it into my chest. I have quite a tight chest from a lot of the bench pressing I do. And I break down the knots. It's like having a little physiotherapist. I lean against the wall. Because it's rubber, it stays still. It's really, really powerful. It's bloody painful, guys, by the way. I do have a little trigger point ball here somewhere. Or has the dog ran away with it? No, she hasn't. She did yesterday. Trigger point ball, like a cross ball. Again, similar thing. I roll it in. I lean this against the wall and I rub around it to massage or break down tightness to make sure I stay more mobile. For me, it's my rhomboids. I put this behind the chair, lean back into it. I also put it under my hamstring and I flex and extend at my knee as I'm doing that with the ball stuck in. And as I press the ball down into the chair using my hamstring, it means that I, again, opening up my hamstrings, which means that my tight hamstrings that I have from spending a lot of days, a lot of time every day working as an office job, really working on a laptop, I have to make sure I do what I can to stack the odds in my favor so I don't get injured. Little tools, little tips, these things, guys, you can get on Amazon. You don't have to get them, not compulsory, but they do help me, especially when we can't get sports massages now, considering the fact that, well, we're all in lockdown. Okay, back to questions. What do we got here? Hope that answers your question, Lindsay. Sam, hello. Sorry you're late. No worries at all. Jane, looking a bit ahead, but in the end, after reaching target, what happens with calories? We up them, I assume, then into account the low BMR. Okay, so Jane, Stacey, depends on your goal. Depends on what you want to achieve. If you want to add muscle mass, we will certainly need to move you into a surplus. If someone is starting off and they're brand new to training, it is possible for someone to actually gain muscle and lose body fat at the same time. But once you pass the honeymoon period, what happens is we need to change what we're doing slightly. We change your macronutrient ratios. We change your calories to slowly gain muscle if that's what you want without regaining the fat. Okay, so yes, thinking ahead is important, but we don't want to confuse what you're doing right now. So we wait until you get to a weight where you're comfortable with, or a body composition that you're comfortable with, and then we change things. Like if you can't ride 2 horses with the one arse, okay? You need to focus on one thing at a time. And once your body fat is down, then we look at. But I preferably always recommend cut the body fat down first, get abs visible. When you're happy with that, then think about increasing your intake the right way so we can add muscle mass. But if we start increasing our intake and going into a calorie surplus, we've got to be careful on a couple of things. One, that we don't do it too drastically, that we gain body fat, and 2, that we're actually utilizing that extra energy and those extra calories to lift more weight. So the body has a reason to adapt, the body has a reason to add more muscle mass to the frame. I hope that makes sense. When you do have more energy, more calories coming in, you want to make sure you're utilizing that to achieve greater things. And tracking your reps and your sets and progressing up with your strength is a great way of indirectly forcing your body to adapt to the new stimulus, the new numbers that are being hit. And then, of course, your body starts to change. I hope that answers your question. Okay, Carlo, good man, great support. What strategies do you have for self-sabotage? Okay, great question, Vicky. So self-sabotage, I want you to be careful in the terminology that you use in Vicky. When you say self-sabotage, it makes it sound it makes it sound quite extreme, you know. So I don't like the word sabotage that much, just because I want people to try and not be so critical of themselves. So I think what you mean is, in terms of undoing your hard work, I think is what you mean. So I'd word it like, how can I stop myself undoing my hard work? Well, what I would ask myself to do is, first of all, what has been the cause of me undoing the hard work? What has been the cause of me undoing the hard work? Why has it happened? Has it happened because I've been stressed, tired, bored, upset? Has it happened because of external factors? Has there been opportunity to eat new foods that I normally wouldn't? Am I in a different setting? What is the environmental reasons? What are the factors? What is the emotion? So try doing a food, mood, and symptom diary. Actually, make it even better. A food, mood, symptom, and situation diary. Food, mood, symptom, and situation diary. Do it for 3 days and see if you can spot correlations with how you were feeling when you ate that and what the situation was. So what happened? What happened? Did your dog get ill? Did someone say a nasty thing to you? If you can identify that, then we can build in strategies. And there's loads of strategies. And I'm going to fire some out at you guys. Everyone's different. Obviously, we tailor them to the person. So if you ask me on Telegram, it's more appropriate. And that way, I can make it specific. But I'll give you some advice in terms of what I found works best. One is distraction. Distraction is huge. Being able to make sure that we're distracted from, I'm not going to use the word self-sabotaging, but distracted from undoing our hard work, which can be doing things like painting, knitting, croquet, talk to friends on the phone, read a book with a highlighter, keep your hands filled in any way possible that you can. Go for a bike ride, go for a walk, get out in the park, leave the phone behind, listen to music, dance, smile, joke, do what you can, climb a tree, anything that's a little different, walk the dog. Distraction can be huge, and practice inputting distraction in advance at a time that you know you're most vulnerable. So make the distraction compulsory so you don't have to wait until things start to slip before you react. Be proactive. Put them first. Put them in first. Force that distraction method into your life. If it's to do with a partner bringing food home, sit him down or sit her down. Have a serious conversation and explain that I know you support me. I know you're in my corner. But one of the things that I'm struggling with is temptation. And for me to be able to do this, it would mean the world to me. It would mean the world to me if I could ask for your help. And if you ask someone for their help first before you lay down the law, they'll be much more open to it. Can I ask for your help? Okay. I mean, I know you obviously have to live your own life. I know you've got your own foods that you like to eat. But one thing that I found is when you bring those foods into the house, I struggle. I struggle a lot more. And I know when I feel better about myself, I'm a better wife or a better husband. I know that I'm less irritable. I'm less patient. I'm more confident in the bedroom. All of these things are related. But for me to be able to do that, I need you to help me. If you help me, it means I can help you and help the family as well. So I know it's a big ask, but I'd be extremely grateful if you could try and refrain from bringing those foods into the house. That could be another example. But Vicky, if you give me some examples in the comments here, I'll dive in more depth, and I'll dive in with more specific. I always trip on that word. I'll be more specific. I think you know what kind of word I was trying to say. Okay, Tracy, any tips in making the pancakes? As mine were a bit stodgy, so I don't look like pancakes, more like scrambled egg. Okay. In terms of improving the pancake recipe, what I found is just make sure you don't go too heavy on the oats. Don't go too heavy on the oats. There's lots of different pancake recipes that I have, so it depends which one you're on about. But don't go too heavy on the oats. Make sure it looks quite liquidy. Make sure the pan is hot. Use loads of 1-calorie spray. Use a wider pan rather than a small one. And spray it loads. And what I would do is I'd recommend that you do have loads of the 1-calorie spray on it and just kind of shake it a little bit. If you shake it a little bit as you're cooking it, it stops it from sticking to the pan. Make it thinner rather than fatter, and then you can flip it and you feel like you're having more as well. Alternatively, if you don't want to flip it, you can actually stick the pan under the grill and it will heat the top of it as well, and then you can roll it. It's great for omelettes as well, guys. If you don't want to flip omelettes or if you don't want to flip pancakes, stick the pan under the grill. That can really, really help. I hope that helps, Tracy. You're welcome, Lindsay. Yoga can be done in your rest day. Great question. So I will never say to anybody that they shouldn't do mobility. So I would say just from a mental capacity, having a full day off exercise a week is good. But I do rehab every single morning for 15 minutes. It's part of my morning formula. It's part of my morning routine. Stretches, weaknesses. So definitely doing yoga. You can do that on your rest day. That's not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Make sure it's not too intense. If it's like Ashtanga, well then it's a little bit more intense. But if it's not overly mad in terms of the intensity, Sheila, 100% do yoga. If you stay flexible, you're going to be a better athlete. The more mobile you are, the longer you can maintain flexibility and mobility, the less likely you are to be injured. And the best athletes are the ones who don't get injured. Okay. What is it called? I'm not sure which question you're referring to there, Ru. Sounds about normal. Let me know. Let me know what you're talking about there, Ru. I'm not sure I'm aware of what you're referring to. Hello, Susan. Hope you're well. Hello, Alex. Hope you are well. Good morning. Hello, Mary. You're all diving in here. I love it. I still have elbow pain. It's impacted on exercise ability. Any suggestions on non-elbow movement exercises? Yes, for sure. So I would think of doing stuff on the floor. Glute bridges, bodyweight glute bridges, which is where you lie on your back. You drive your heels into the floor. You lift your bum off the floor. Then try and do it with one leg. Very challenging to stay, well, don't fall over. Try not to fall over. But try it with one leg, a one-leg glute bridge where you drive your hips up from the floor. Keep your raised leg fully extended. If you want to make it easier, you can bring the raised leg back towards your chest. If you want to make it harder, keep your raised leg as far away from you as possible, as if someone is pulling you from the ankle. Okay? A glute bridge. Cracking one, keep the elbows out of it. That will also help. If you want to use the chair, you can hold onto a weight. You can do a box squat. Like this. And then come back and sit down holding a weight. That shouldn't be using the elbows. So lots of lower body stuff for sure. If you find that your elbow is giving you a lot of jip, getting a resistance band and rowing it back to bring the band across your chest. So I'm holding the band like this. I'm working my rhomboids, the back of my body. Similarly, you can put the band round the back, have the band here, and you can pull your hands together to work your chest. And there's very little flexion or extension in the elbow, so that should also help you. Great question, though. Okay, Stacey, amazing. So it's fitness forever, not an excuse. I love it. Oh, I'm on a target. Stacey, you're an absolute legend. You're an absolute legend. Thank you for asking, though. That sponge and desire to learn is huge. Absolutely huge. If you consistently watch all these live Q&As back, guys, absorb every single drop of what I'm teaching you, you're not going to forget this stuff. Put it in your little notepad that we discussed previously to write down the information so you retain it, so you truly retain it. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. To stop overwhelm, it's best for you to try and diarize half an hour a week where you go back and you look at all the things that I'll have taught, whether it be live Q&As, whether it be video trainings from me or from Lorna, whether it be various different options. Put it all in and stack it back to back for half an hour or an hour. Because if you consistently get emails through when you're busy doing other things and I'm trying to give you information, but you haven't got time to listen to it, it can be quite overwhelming if you feel that you're falling behind, but you're not falling behind, you're just deciding to learn at a different time, and that's totally cool. Morning, Julia. Morning again. I wrote my happiness list this morning. Fantastic, Mish. Do me a favor. Here is a bit of a challenge for you, Mish. I want you to write a couple of things from your happiness list on this video, because you're going to inspire other people, because you'll have ideas that I won't, and you certainly will have ideas other people won't, and vice versa. Everyone's happiness list is different. One of the things I'm doing right now is when I bring the dogs out for a final piss at night, excuse the French, is I bring them out under moonlight and I walk to the head of the garden and I leave the phone in and I bring a pint of water, next some water before I go to bed. Not a massive amount because I don't want to be up during the night. But then I just look at the stars and I reflect on the day a little bit, just for maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I look at the big wins, the struggles, what I've learned, and I thank I'm not very religious, but I'm just very grateful for having the opportunity to have another day. Okay. You're welcome, Tracy. Should you do 10,000 steps in a rest day? Depends on where you're at right now. If you're comfortably doing 10,000 steps every other day, then yes, 100% do 10,000 steps on a rest day. I think your body's well able for it. But it depends where you're starting. Don't try and force yourself to do 10,000 steps, guys, if you're doing 200 or 300 right now. Don't force yourself. The end goal of hitting 10,000 steps would be amazing, but don't push yourself, okay? Don't push yourself too much that you become overwhelmed. Because as long as you see the needle moving forward, that you're progressing, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Okay. What is the item called, not the ball that you lean against, muscle release? This is called a pocket physio. A pocket physio. lockerroomsports.com, it says in the back, lockerroomsports.com, or a pocket physio, locker room. Get it on Amazon. Great little thing because it doesn't slide around. If you lie on it and you put it top in the back of your glute or the bottom of your lower back, and you bring your heels up to your bum while you're lying on your back, and you let one leg fall to one side, it hits your medial glute. And if you have a sedentary job, your medial glute is likely to be tight. And my God, if it hurts, it's working. Okay, if it hurts, it's working. Hope that answers your question. Hello, Hal. How are you doing? Hope you're well and happy. I have a call in a minute, guys, so I don't want to be late for that. Will it mess my plan if I do extra lower body stuff or miss some of the upper body stuff? Thanks for the band tips. We'll do them. Fantastic. It won't mess your plan. I'd rather see you do the movement than no movement at all. So you'll notice that most people have in their programs, 9 exercises. If you're hitting 9 exercises 3 times each, if you're doing 3 sets of 9 exercises, you're getting a lot of volume done there. And provided you get the same amount of volume done on different muscle groups, temporarily it's totally fine. It can cause imbalances though, if you just do one muscle group and you don't do all the muscle groups that I've actually programmed in for you. But temporarily, because of injury, it's totally fine. What extra can I do to work on my quads and knee replacement legs? I'm finding my movement isn't as good as my other leg. Okay. My knee replacement leg. Okay, so in terms of what you can do with your knee replacement leg, you can try doing a body weight extension. Okay, a body weight extension is when you lie on your shins. So you're sitting down on your ankles. I'll try and give you an example. Like this. You can't see. Sitting on the chair like that. And what I'm doing is I'm slowly sitting down on my ankles and keep my hands together. And then I'm kneeling up, sitting down on my ankles and kneeling up. I'm not sure if it's possible for you to do that with what you're telling me right there now. But let me know if you can try it. Let me know if it works for you. And then just drive your hips forward. It works your quadriceps. Okay. So if that works, it's using both legs though. I'm not sure whether unilateral is going to work for you considering what you've just told me with your knee replacement leg. So try that. Try that. Okay, let me know if it works. If it doesn't, we can do some band work. We can tie a band to your ankle, have you sitting on the chair, and then extend and with both legs. Okay, so you're sitting on a chair, band tied to the bottom of the chair, band tied to each ankle or one ankle at a time, and then slowly lock out or extend one of your legs. You feel it on your quads. Okay, guys, I do have to run. I'm afraid I will dive on later and answer the rest of these questions. Is it 5-a-day workout or 2 days, Alex? 2 rest days. So a 5-day workout should have 2 rest days. So you can have the 2 rest days whenever you want. If possible, try not to train more than 3 days in a row. That breaks it up. Hope that answers your question. Dancing, walking in nature, fantastic. Does hog work in the same way as a sports physio? I have a hog B. I'm not sure what a hog is. But if it's something that you can stick into your muscle that's hard, then yes, it will. We'll swap stuff out for now. Thank you. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Have an amazing day. It's been so lovely, and I'm blown away by how many of you tuned in. I shall speak to you all very soon.